Hello, good morning, and welcome to this special Newsburst Live unboxing with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. It's the Full Force podcast, brought to you by General Joe's REBORN.com, and I'm going to be unboxing some very fun little things today. Yes, it's the Super7 SDCC Exclusive Red Jackal and Rednok. I had to realize what my hands were looking like on screen then. Yes, so Red Jackal and Rednok. Massive thank you to Andrew Franks for lending me these before he's even opened them. So he basically said, "Do you want to do if you want to do an unboxing, go ahead, and then I'll get them afterwards." So thank you very much, Andrew. Although this is going to be kind of like a little bit torturous as I enjoy them on this unboxing and then have to give them back again. So I'm gonna have to get my own versions, aren't I? Absolutely. Anyway, thank you very much, Andrew Franks, for throwing these our way so that we can do a little unboxing on the channel. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. All 6 of you so far by the looks of things. Jason, morning, cheese bag. Neil Hill, repaint crew is loose. How you doing, pal? And Michael Jean Fleming, good morning as well to you. And everyone else that's watching at this moment. Of course, this is a precursor to the weekly. Don't worry, that's still happening at 10 a.m. I'm just pulling double shifts, as always, on a Saturday morning. So, okay, let's get into these then, shall we? Because I'm excited to have a look at what Rednok and, of course, Red Jackal are saying. So, yeah, let's transition. We are going to start with Rednok, aka Baroness. This one, let's have. Well, obviously we're in the plastic wrap at the moment, so we have to remove that first. And I'm always a little more concerned when dealing with somebody else's toys, because, you know, if they were mine, I wouldn't care about, how I open stuff, but I'm gonna have to be really careful on this one because I don't want to hand it back to Andrew like, in absolute tatters and just be like, "Oh yeah, I did the unboxing, thanks," and destroyed it all. So there you go. Probably taking more time getting this thing out of its box, so I apologize in advance if that is the case. But how are we all doing this fine Saturday morning at 8-ish a.m.? I hope well. I will try to get to comments once I've done this bit, removing the tape off the top of the bag. It's so, yeah, it's not clean, is it? And seems to be the tape on the bottom as well. Yep, there is. It looks like this is the bit where you actually, he probably won't mind that I destroy the package, the plastic bit. I'm sure he won't care, but I'm still going to be as careful as possible, he says. Okay, we're good. We're in. Ta-da! I wish I'd kind of done that off camera beforehand now. So here we go. Rednok is first in this gorgeous packaging. I'm going to move that a little bit so we can get a better look at the package. What are we saying? Morning, Ryan. Hello, Robert H. Got my Python Crimson in, and he is a bright yellow and grey delight. Oh, I'm glad you did. Mine's coming probably today, actually. You should get Eric Aranya to do a weekly with you once, says Jason. Oh, I should do. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? Setting up my new Vitruvian Hacks figures with a cup of coffee. Lovely stuff. Anyway, here is the package for this glorious... hello, Robert, as well. A good evening in your case, Robert. Brilliant. This beautiful package. It's actually really nice. So getting into it, you got the Cobra sigil on the front, and of course the kind of like effect of like wear and tear and metal and scraping and all sorts. The red kind of camo, which is really nice as well on here. We've got the Rednok Intelligence Officer dog tag as the name kind of banner there, or the name tag, I should say. And then on the sides, we have just kind of more of that kind of detailing on one side. And on the other side, we have GI Wave 2 Rednok 1, which is pretty cool as well. I like that. So that tells you who that is. And on the back of this is just the slip cover, by the way, we have that G.I. Joe, faint G.I. Joe logo in the background there, again, with all that kind of lovely effect on the metal scraping and everything. I love all that. It's really nice. Ultimates on the top. And there's a little bit of a... Oh, no, that's just a bit of plastic. It's all right. I've moved it. It was just a bit of excess plastic that came off. It wasn't a mark or a scratch or anything. And then on the bottom, we've got a few more details. May contain small parts, adult collectible, not a toy. Pretty cool. All the stuff you expect. One figure with accessories and all that good stuff. Now, let's slide this open to reveal Rednok Baroness, or Rednok. Let's just say Rednok. There she is. She looks great. Actually, she looks fantastic. I'm well into this this figure already. Lovely stuff. Now, you may be wondering, Rednok, what's that? in that voice as well. What's that? And you wouldn't be surprised if you're not aware of the Indian Fun School release. I believe it was a Complan Commando release, wasn't it? I may be wrong. It might have just been a straight up Rednok situation. I can't remember off the top of my head now. It's funny because I've said this over and over and over again. And then I completely, yeah, it was Complan Commando. I was right. Yeah. Complan Commando, which was like was it toothpaste or something? I think it was toothpaste back in India. No, health drink. It was a chocolate health drink. Of course it was. Duh. I'm getting confused with the Pepsodent stuff they did. Yeah, of course I am. Yeah, so it was a chocolate health drink. Is there such thing? Probably not. But yeah, anyway, that was a figure that came with that kind of, and you get some other ones in there too. I think Canary Ann was Complan Commando as well. There's a whole like range of those figures that are quite famous Indian repaints. But yeah, lovely, cool little layout there for the figure. It's the Baroness, effectively, isn't it? And on the back, we've got some awesome additional extras. We've got like a file card here, which is very nice indeed. And it's kind of, they've utilized the Sunbow Baroness from like the first mini-series, like an image of, and they've kind of just changed the color to red to kind of like make it, you know, that way around. Well, I should also say as well, the Complan Commando Baroness, the original Indian Fun School one, was actually the kind of second version of her. You know, like, well, the first figure version, should we say, because there was no O-ring of this particular mass device Baroness design. So it's interesting they went with this figure to do the Rednok one, but it really works for me. I think it looks really nice just already out of the box. And there's some nice color breaks there that aren't on the original. Like the original is like what, black gloves and the rest is red, effectively. There's an image of Rednok, courtesy of Yojo. Thank you, Yojo. As you can see, pretty much just red all over with black gloves, and that's it. So they've kind of done some extras with this particular figure. Two different tones of red. There's like a dark red on the boots and the gloves. Then there's that kind of brighter red on the body, and then the grey on the rest of it. It's really nice. And then continuing on the back, I'll just read the file card out because we've got time. Rednok, in brackets India release, intelligence officer, primary military specialty, intelligence, secondary military specialty, fixed wing pilot, birthplace, classified. Rednok studied and competed in 3 forms of martial arts from the time she was 7 until she graduated from a school of martial arts. Post-graduation, she took a vacation to Japan, where she discovered that her family had been ninjas for generations, and she was officially initiated into the clan. She is a qualified expert in all military small arms, black belt in 12 different fighting systems, and highly skilled in the use of edged weapons. The commando team like to have her along their side wherever they go on a special mission, regardless of what field of fire the bad guys control. The night belongs to Rednok. Nice. And then we have all of this awesome stuff on the bottom, reimagining the Baroness in red in a few kind of panels there. I love that. And we have this awesome display where we've got analyzing, rendering G.I. Joe's imagery, primary locations targeted, diagnostic complete. That's a nod to me, by the way. It's a joke. It's not really. And then you've got G.I. Joe Super 7, and you've got another image of the Baroness in the red there as well. And what looks like they found a stash of marijuana in that radar. I've said that joke before, haven't I? But effectively, maybe X30 Conquests coming in. I like the thought of that. Yeah, they would be, wouldn't they? Yeah, definitely X30 Conquests. Or, like I said, hash leaves. But anyway, This is Rednok Baroness. Let's get her out of the package and actually see the figure. But it's nice to get a nice detailed overview, is it not? Everyone's like, no, it's not. Just get the bloody thing open. You're telling us things we already know. And yeah, I'm sorry. The box comes open very nicely. Just the one bit of tape, circular tape on the top there. Fold that out. Lovely stuff. Here we go. I made that noise, not the box. And then you've got the explosion background there in the back. Lovely stuff. I'm going to pop that to the side. And here is the Rednok. I nearly said the Baroness then. Now, she is tied in, which means I'm going to have to do some snippety doodahs, aren't I? Why was I not expecting that? I think I did this last time, didn't I, with the Super 7 stuff? But maybe you can just poke it through the gap. No, I'm going to have to snippy snip that. I'll see if my slice works. If it does, then that's that sorted. Yeah, it does. So I'm just going to cut that so the leggies are out. But we'll look at, of course, we'll be looking at the accessories first anyway. And there's lots to look at. So first off, if I can pull it out, we've got her little holster, which comes separate, which is interesting, off the figure. But there's a little tab that goes in. So we've got one item so far. We've got a little pistol here. We've got a little pistol here. There it is. Nice little basic little pistol there. Lovely stuff. That goes in the holster, I imagine. We've got the classic sort of sunbow laser rifle. Little wonky on the end there. I think it's just been in the plastic a bit too long, but a bit of heat will sort that out, I imagine. Or just bending it backwards there. Look, there you go. If I get my head out of the way and do that, and I'll do that and that. That makes sense. There we go. You can actually see it now, without my head in the way. I'll just do that. There's another one. We've also got, oh, this is nice. This is a nice one. Because we've got, not only have we got the kind of rifle, but in red, it's also got the strap as well attached to it. So I'm guessing that when you put the strap around her, it'll sit nice and flat on the back. So that's cool. We'll have to check that out and try that out. Whee! So once again, I do that. You can see the rifle and the strap. Yeah, cool. I'm missing everyone's comments. I'll have to come back to those in a second. In fact, let's do a quick one quickly. One day someone should do a boxing where they repackage the figure, says JG Peak 26. Yeah, that's a hilarious idea. It's like, look at the figure, hey, put it back in the box. Done. See you guys. Take care. My scrap iron shipwreck and torpedo finally shipped despite the fact they arrived weeks ago. Well done, Ryan. Did you get a shipping notification? Yeah, and it's like always it's afterwards. It's weird, isn't it? Neil says, I really wish Brian would dial in the tolerances so the looseness wasn't such a problem, but otherwise I still love these figures. I haven't really noticed that on the figures I have, but I'm going to have to go back to them and open them up again because I did actually have to put them back in the package to, to transport them back. But I'll have to check that out, Neil, because I didn't really notice much looseness in mine. I know that the original, the comic bat they did, had suffered from a little bit of like loose bits and pieces here and there, like around the neck and everything, the joints. But I never had that one. So I do actually have Flint still to open as well. And I haven't just been putting it off, but, based on all of the scandal around not having the painted face, I'm actually still excited to get them open. So we've got a little pointy finger there, little pointy hand. We've got a left kind of like thumbs up hitchhiker. No, not really, but like that's to cup usually to do that in it, hold the end of the rifle basically. And then we've got a C grip kind of trigger hand, nice red color. and we've got a spare right, kind of similar to the left one I just showed you before. Yeah, there you go, pretty straightforward stuff. Then we've got the heads, and there are lots of these. She actually looks really good. Gotta try and get her out of this plastic without destroying everything. There we go. Oh, that's really nice. Love the shades as well. So this is one at the heads, looking very good indeed, with the kind of tinted, the rose tinted shades, rose tinted glasses. She's looking at everything through rose tinted glasses, a bit like myself. Anyway, love the hair on this one. Love the hair sculpt. Very whooshy and wavy, and just yeah, she looks great. That's a really nice head sculpt, and obviously she's got one of her eyebrows poking up as well there, which is quite interesting and fun. And a kind of a little smirk on her face there too. I like it. I like that a lot. Own them a while, Chris. They grow looser. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. Good morning, Philly. I noticed if they added a diving gear with the Baroness, you'll get a bonus diver Baroness. Actually, yeah, that's true, Robert. Yeah, this kind of feels like a little bit of a diver, doesn't it? With the red and everything. Neil Hill, MACLEOD is a nod to you, isn't it, Chris? McLeod is, yes, on the tripwire figure, yeah. Yeah, I have no qualms in broadcasting that to the world. Yeah, it was a nice little... I can't get over that. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Probably going to be talking about it more later today as well. Robert says, the one episode Worms of Death of the Mass Device storyline. Yep. Love the rose color on the glasses, Neil. Yeah, and Super 7 figures do nothing for me, says Brian. That's totally up to you, my man. If you're not liking it, it's all good. You can if you want to still stay for the bants, it's fine. Or just, if you have other questions. Okay, getting the other head out. That is well in there. Wow, that was on there, as they say. And morning falafel. Anyway, here is the other head with more circular glasses, rose tinted again. And this time more of a kind of concerned head look. So if you show them next to each other, you can see the differences quite clearly there. Yeah, almost indistinguishable, like different people almost. But there you go. And just to reverse to show the difference in mold on the back as well. There's significantly different hair pieces as well, which is kind of cool. Nice. I'll put your heads down there. And then we'll get the Baroness out. Get your Baroness out, even though it's Rednok. Get your Rednok out. Just going to have to try and snip this in the back here. I should have brought my other blade because it's got a longer blade on it. And therefore, I've done it. It's fine. It's fine. Just a bit noisy. Sorry, guys. First thing in the morning, waking everyone up with my noise. Just pop her out of this packaging. Oh, the figure's nice. Yeah, that's good. Okay, it's out. She's there. She's with us. Let's just kind of like move her around a bit to get her in position. Oh, yeah, she's cool. That is very cool indeed. There is Rednok. Now she's got another head sculpt. So she's got 3 head sculpts. Are they 3 different pairs of glasses as well? Okay, so these look very similar. So I feel like these are kind of 2 very similar pairs of glasses that she's rocking on these 2 head sculpts. But she has got a different pair of glasses on the other figure as well. Give it closer. There we go. But again, completely different head sculpt. Let's show you that one as well. Again, completely different. Now, the figure itself, let's go through it. Like I said before, she's got the kind of where they would be yellow, I believe, on the kind of blue. You've got the grey kind of padded pieces on the shoulders around the neck. And then obviously the hair goes all down the back. So you kind of like, cover up a lot of the back there. She is red, in that kind of bright red for the body and the upper arms. Then she has those kind of dark kind of maroon, almost burgundy sort of gloves. She's got the padding on the belt round there as well in grey, and then she's got this like grey stripe running down the sides of the legs. Sorry, I kind of moved it around a bit. There's a little hole for the holster to go in. And then she's got the dark red kind of, or like more or less maroon boots as well. Yeah, nice, lovely stuff. Looks great. Let's gear her up. Actually, I'll just run through some of the articulation just to see how she fares. But there's not really a lot of looseness going on at the moment. But like Neil says, after time, you might feel that kind of looseness. Good articulation everywhere, pretty much. Straight out of the box, we're getting the knees and the ankles and everything moving. So it's all very, instantly posable out of the box. We've got, what have we got? We've got a sort of twist at the waist, but there isn't much going on at the belt in terms of like a lot of distance around. The split at the, in the mid torso split is very articulated. You can really move that around. And then you've got multiple articulation points on the arms, like the wrists. You've got this kind of like ball joint at the elbow, which spins and folds and bends as well. Then you've got this kind of spin at the kind of bicep and to the top of the upper arm. And then you've got obviously the shoulder articulation as well, all the way around and up and down and stuff. So yeah, she's thoroughly articulated. The head is a little bit hindered in movement, I will say, because of the hair, like kind of all the way around and everything. So you're not really getting a lot of movement from the actual head itself, but she still looks pretty cool. And I'm going to actually try and pop a different head on just to see how easy that is. Head comes off nice and easy. Let's pop this one on, see how that fares. Yep, that goes on nicely as well. Yeah, that looks great. She looks great with that one. I love that smirk. In fact, this might be my favorite of the head sculpts, actually. I've got to say, I feel like this one is my favorite. That kind of smirk with the eyebrow up and everything. Like there's a little bit of like menace in there. I like it. I think it's kind of playful and menacing at the same time. I'm also I'll change the hands out in a second, but she's got the default fists in at the moment. I forgot to mention that. But I do like that head sculpt. And let's try the other head sculpt. There we go. Yeah, this is the kind of more stern one. I do like it on the figure, and the glasses being different shape also brings like a different vibe to it completely as well. It's almost a bit more animated, this one, isn't it? I know they're all supposed to be based on Sunbow animation, but this one almost looks like anime kind of style. The eyes look a little bit bigger on this one as well. Like, so yeah, very nice, very cool. I would have to say, I think out of all of the heads, the default one's okay. This one's kind of fun, the anime-ish one. And then this one is my favorite. So I'm going to go with this one. This one is the one of the alternate heads that comes in it. And it's the one that's got the smirk and the eyebrow kind of raised. That is definitely my favorite of the three. So that's the one that's going to be staying on there for the duration. We're going to take these little handies off. Pop, come off nice and easy. And we're going to... I say that. No, it does. I'm just trying to be a bit careful, Let's get a trigger hand going. If I can find it. That's a pointy one. That's a C grip. Maybe that. That's not really... There isn't really one that I would say is a right-hand trigger scenario. Maybe that, but that's pointing. Maybe she'll just have to fire with a left hand. Maybe she's a lefty. And this one will go with the point for now. Yeah, what I'll do is I'll pop this in the side to get the, what's the word? Yeah, get the holster in there. Now, the holster peg is one of those ones where it's soft. It's a soft peg going in a very hard hole, Kitty said. And it's one of those ones that I just immediately, as I went to push it in, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to take a bit of doing. It's that kind of thing, isn't it? That kind of like, it doesn't really go well together when you're pushing like a soft peg into the hole, because it doesn't, you really have to kind of mash it in there. And and it just kind of keeps kind of flexing back out again. But I've sort of got it in there. It's not flush though, which is bothering me. So it's in there as far as it's going to go at the moment, I think. But yeah, you'll probably have to like work on that a little bit. Maybe a little bit of heat to soften it up, even though it is pretty soft as already. But yeah, it's one of those things where you kind of want it to just go in, you know. Anyway, you might have had a different experience to me if you already got this figure. The little tab unlocks quite comfortably, and we can pop the pistol in there just to see how it looks. And it all comes out at once as soon as I try to put the tab back down. It might even be better to take it out, put the pistol in, tab it in, because of the nature of these kind of tab in accessories, and then put the actual holster in the side of the figure. Okay, there we go. It's on her. She's got a pistol in there. We are almost there, geared up wise. I'm going to have her holding this rifle, this kind of like smaller rifle in this hand with the trigger finger on it. And I'm going to have the rifle around her just to see how that goes. Okay, the strap, being the shape that it is kind of a bit funny. I'm going to put it under her hair actually, see if that helps. Yeah, that's better. That's kind of cool. But because of the way that the strap is, it really does push the rifle far away from her back, so it doesn't like sit flush on there, which is surprising. It looks fine from the front, but yeah, that does stick out a surprising amount. I wonder if you were to put it in front of her hair. Yeah, it's quite a large strap. So maybe it's more of a case that you kind of like pull the rifle down a bit. That might help. Yeah, that kind of seems to work a bit better. So if you pull the rifle down a bit, it's kind of like a little bit kind of more realistic. But there we have it. I'm going to do some sort of, onward pose. Yeah, there's in terms of the head articulation, it's not going to happen because of the hair. The hair really does kind of hinder a lot of that. That's cool. The strap actually comes off the rifle. That's cool. The strap's actually unpeg. I didn't realize that, on both sides as well. So the rifle can be sans strap, which is actually a good little, that's a good little feature. Because that could get in the way, and it could be in the way when you're trying to like pose firing the rifle. So yeah, good idea on that one. I just thought it was fixed on there. I just assumed that was the case. Right. I'm also gonna, let's put it back on her. Let's put it on that way around and see what happens. Well, now it won't tab in at all. It's doing that thing where it's like, well, you untabbed me. Well, I'm going to stay untabbed forever now, no matter what you try to do. I'm nearly there, guys. The tabs. I do have trouble with the tabs, I've got to admit. It's my one kind of thing about these that I'm not really a fan of, I don't think. Unless maybe you can spin that around a little bit to change the... let's try this. I'm going to try something. Little trick I picked up in NARM. Faker NARM. Right, so I've switched it round so it's that shape now instead of the way it was before, and I think that might be the way forward. And it is because she's pointing in the way forward, so that's good. Right, let me just try and get this on, and then we'll move on to another element of the figure. I'm just trying to... The problem with the tabs aren't strong enough. It's such a shame. Yeah, the tabs have they've lost all kind of like connectivity completely. But it's actually too big now, the strap. It's too big across her body, so it drops all the way down. But at least it's closer to her back now. So it's one or the other way. And either way, I don't think you're going to get it in a comfortable position to look 100% right. So it's a good attempt to trying to get that rifle to fit her, but it's not definitely. I'm probably just going to do away with that strap completely because it keeps unpegging very easily. And we're going to try it on this little We're going to try it in this hand anyway, even though she's just pointing. She's not actually there. Here we go. See, she can still have a couple of rifles in her hand though, and that looks pretty bad. As there she is. Yeah, so that is Rednok Baroness. I would just a quick summary in terms of what I kind of noticed about this particular figure there. Some great accessories. She comes with loads of cool stuff, but I will say the tabs, man. I'm not a fan of tabs. Really not a fan of these, like the little kind of soft tabs going into hard holes and so on and so forth. The holster takes you might have to give that some work to get that in there, and I don't know what that's going to entail, like some sort of like movement like that maybe, but then it just starts pushing it out. You can see it slowly pushing it out, and that's one thing that drives me mad. Yeah, so that is definitely an issue. I'm just not a fan of tabbing, like Kitty said. You know the Copperhead figure where he's got the tab on the back and on the holster? It's all cool and it's a nice little detail, but it's really difficult to get it in there, Kitty said. So I'm really not a fan of that. I wish they'd do something else in that kind of way. Like, does it, like, I guess it needs the fold over for the holster, but for the most part, if it just kind of like goes into a holster and sticks out the top a little bit, I don't think that's a problem, really. But or to come up with a better tab system, because it just feels like those tabs, are not great. But the figure looks bloody gorgeous. I do love this Baroness base figure. She looks great. The obviously the kind of color's really nice. The homage to the Indian Fun School Complan Commandos figure is really cool. She comes with some dope accessories. I'm not going to lie, the head sculpts are fantastic. And there's so many different, I mean, the two of them look like different people. Like, there's like, you could easily get away with thinking that is got as a completely different character. Like, this is Rednok and, this is the Baroness sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of like that about this. Is there a way to work the strap so that the rifle is slung in front in a ready position? Yes, Michael Jean Fleming, probably. And the fact that it's a bit bigger probably works better to do that. But the tabs are so loose, they just pop out. So you can't get them in that position, because they'll just pop out as soon as you try and mess around with it. It would take a long time to get it, to get it to fit, like fiddle around with it to get it to stay. But for the most part, she carries all her gear, and she can still carry the rifle. It just looks a little awkward. So but I'm sure the distance from which the straps are, you can probably get it over and in a position, in a firing position as well. So yeah, there's Rednok Baroness. There's so much to enjoy about this figure, so much. But the tabs, man, it's just the tabs that I don't like. That is it. It's just the tabs. The design's great. She looks fantastic. She comes with a decent amount of gear, lots of different hands, a couple of heads as well, and it's a lovely homage to the Complan Commandos Baroness, or Rednok. So yeah, love it. But like I said, tabs. Why? Why? With the tabs. I'm missing loads of comments, and I apologize. My goodness, I've missed loads. Right, what was the last one? Any goodies on their way, Chris? Trouble Bubble, Valkyrie? Not that I'm aware of, Neil. The only things I have coming are Dusty, the Crimson Guard, Big Ben, and Range Viper. They're the only ones I know that are in the mail as we speak. Dusty and Crimson Guard, I imagine, will probably turn up either today or Monday. And what are the other two I just mentioned? Big Ben and Range Viper are on their way across the seas from good old Blighty to the United States. So I've got those to look forward to as well. We'll be doing unboxings for those. But in terms of all the other figures that seem to be dropping now, I've seen In Hand Grunt, Tunnel Rat, Trouble Bubble, Chuckles. It's nuts, isn't it? Like, I just mole rats. It's like snow serpent. It's nuts that these figures are coming so quickly. I remember. Do you remember when it was like pre-order, 6 months later you'll get the figure? Yeah, now it's like pre-order. Oh, it's already here. What? Crazy. I'm not sure how I feel about it. That was a lot easier to take off, by the way. Don't know why I struggled so much with the Rednok one, who is standing up very well on this wobbly scenario I've got built up here. Okay, it's Red Jackal time. I hope everyone's got their pants on. Keep your pants on, guys. I love that Super7 can give us these style figures and Hasbro produces classified at the same time. Great time to be a Joe fan. It certainly is. JG Peak 26. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Do you think Super7 will create the first G.I. Joe base and or Terradrome, says Philly? I think, well, first we're going to have that. I think we're going to have that airship first, aren't we? That'll be the first thing we get. So I'd imagine that we'll probably get some O-ring sort of O-ring scale, big stuff. Depending on how the airship does. I think the airship could be a make or break for any like HQ or Terradrome or thing like that in the future. But if the airship does well, which I mean, if you're an O-ring collector as well, or a vintage figure collector, that could be a really good one to get involved with, couldn't it? I'm kind of excited for it. No desire to own these, but they're definitely cool, says Neil. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of the consensus, isn't it? I wish they hadn't gone straight repaint, says the repaint commander. Great figure. How's the face? Any face paint issues like on Flint? Durant, not that I can see. I showed you a pretty close up of all the head sculpts, and they look great. I don't see any issues with any of that, honestly. But then again, I don't have the other figure really to compare it to. But no, this Baroness looks so good. Compared to the images I saw of Lady J and Flint, she looks great. Not digging this head much better. Were you talking about the one I showed earlier, the kind of anime style one? Was it that one you're not digging, Neil? It is a little bit. It's a bit anime, isn't it? I think. Cat looking, yeah, James. It is a bit. What's cracking cheese? Hello, Mark. Right, proper that. Did you own the OG Fun School, Chris? What I do own quite a few Fun School and quite a few rare, like foreign figures. I've got a bunch of the kind of South American figures. I have a ton of Plastorama, ton of Bloomin' Estrella, and it was just in that period where they weren't that expensive when I got them, and now they are crazy expensive. So not that I would I probably wouldn't sell them anyway, but it was just the thought of like, you know, how fortunate it was to get them when I did. I remember getting a load of Fun School at one point, and I thought it was expensive at the time when I got like a whole box of it, and then now it's like quadrupled in price basically. And again, not that it makes any difference to me, but I think it's more of a, I'm glad I got in there when I could. These would be great additions to the classified line, says Tac Tac. Totally, I'd love a Red Jackal in blooming classified. Baroness and her large strap causing Chris problems. Exactly. Although you said stap. We kind of have a Rednok Crimson Strike Team Baroness comparison. Yes, JG Peak 26. We'll have to do that, won't we? Is there a way to work this? Oh, I did that one already. Or Chameleon. Yeah, I guess it could be Chameleon. Range Viper is amazing. Comes with so many accessories. Just awesome, says Neil. Yeah, I can't wait to get Range Viper out. And Big Ben. You think they'll ever re-release Flint and Lady J, says Pastor Pierogi? Well, I guess they would. I could see them doing like Tiger Force Flint, and I could see them doing like a Canary Ann for Lady J. So technically, yeah, I could see them re-releasing them. I couldn't see them re-releasing them as is. After speaking to Brian, he was like, it was an unfortunate kind of mess up by the factory, but I think he overall he didn't feel like it was necessary to do like replacement heads. Personally, I kind of feel like maybe it would have been a good idea to do so. I haven't actually seen the figure up close yet. but from the response that it got and kind of how I feel like it might have affected the line a little bit negatively, even though like I feel like the next wave will be spot on. You know, it's one of those things where you kind of think, well, hopefully in the in the future, hopefully in the future they might come around to doing something else like that. Maybe even like an alternate head in with another figure that you can then use on Flint. That would be excuse me, and Jay, that would be great. I need to drink water because I've been talking too long. Here we go. There we go. Now, I think Spirit and Storm Shadow took 29 months between pre-order and shipping, says Ryan. Yeah, it was a Outback, Tiger Force Outback. Do you remember that? That was like a year. That was crazy, or over a year. Anyway, it's Red Jackal time. It's Red Jackal time. It's Red Jackal time. He's a weapon supplier as well. Red Shadow's logo on the front. Isn't that just phenomenal? Love it. I'm so glad we have official product with Red Shadow's logos on it like that. Isn't that nuts? Crazy. Just blows my mind. This one has GI Wave 2 Red Jackal 1. Ridgical. And that's really nice. And I'm so happy there is a Red Shadows logo, the classic Red Shadows logo on a box currently in a figure in the now times. It's Red Jackal. This is another beauty, isn't it? But look at that. Oh, can't wait to get him out, Kitty said. Again, lots of accessories on this one. Really awesome to see the logo on the chest. We'll get to that. We'll get him open and enjoy all that stuff. Now on the back, we have again, they've really gone to town with the switch, the Sunbow style kind of switch up, which is great. And they've painted over the rivets on the neck of the helmet, which is an interesting touch as well, which they've done on the figure as well, which I quite like. Again, probably differentiating Destro and Red Jackal a little bit more again, isn't it? Pastor Progi says, yeah, it killed my momentum. I was really excited to order them after first wave, but I held off after I saw the complaints. Yeah, and again, I think that's one of, like I said, I think they're improving as well. That's the thing. Like things are getting better, mistakes are being made, and then they're getting that out of the way for the next wave. But like you say, it still puts people in a position of like, do I spend the money for the next? Yeah, so it's one of those things, isn't it? It's difficult. It's a personal decision that you have to make, an individual decision you have to make as a collector. And if you really like the line, you either keep going or you back out and go, I'm gonna leave it now and then maybe come back to it when I see that some issues have been worked out, should we say. Robert H, I still think UK Action Force will be future retail exclusive theme for Classified one day. That'd be fun. Yeah, that'd be really nice. And Lord Tao says Super7 doing God's work. They're doing some good work, definitely, on that one. So there's Red Jackal's file card, and it says Red Jackal UK release in brackets, weapon supplier, file name unknown. Except we do know it's Nabokov. It's like Nabokov, isn't it? It's a Russian name, but we do know it. Obviously, this is more and we know Destro's name as well. So I'm surprised they put unknown there. Primary, maybe they put unknown because they didn't want people. They were ambiguously didn't. Yeah, it's Anton Nobokov. It's written in the actual thing. So his file name is unknown, but then they say literally in the first line, Red Jackal's real name is Anton Nobokov. Look at that. That's genius. File name unknown. Red Jackal's real name is Anton Nobokov. Phenomenal. Infantry, primary military specialty. Secondary military specialty, tank driver, or specifically hyena driver. Birthplace, Riga, Latvia. Correct. So this is definitely not Destro, which is, definitely something that makes me happy, because even though they've kind of described these on the website as Baroness Rednok, Destro Red Jackal. I'm glad that we're kind of going, and on the box as well, it just says Red Jackal. So it's like, it's not like they're, you know, saying this is an alias for Destro at the moment. That's really good. Red Jackal's real name is Anton Novikov. He joined the Soviet army, displaying a natural talent for driving, but failed to adjust to other aspects of life in the Soviet military. Despite this trait, he was recruited to a unit with the codename Jackal. Whilst on an assignment transferring officials to a conference in Finland, the convoy he was leading was ambushed, and Novikov escaped by driving his vehicle into a log-strewn river and using the felled trees as a raft. Following a series of operations, Novikov emerged as the Red Jackal, altered with bionic technology, in particular an armored steel-plated head, bionic hands, and powerful vision. So this is definitely the different character, and I'm really happy about that they've gone that direction. That's great, and it's effectively his bio taken from his storyline in the Battle Action Force comics, which is fantastic as well. Yeah, lovely stuff. And then if we have a look at the bottom, we've got the Sunbow reimaginings of Red Jackal there. I like that. Again, more of those kind of maps and what have you. Also, this is a black box as opposed to the Baroness's red box. Yeah, she's got like a maroon one and he's got a black one, which is nice. And if we close in on the stuff again, you can see another shot there of Red Jackal, again in a kind of Sunbow style, and we've got the hash farm that's been spotted from the radar. Again, it's Conquest X30s, but still it's funny. There you go. Cool. Lovely stuff. I do like all this extra stuff, and the fact that this is 100% without doubt a different character makes me even happier that they're doing that. Jim Smith, I just got Wave 2 in hand, and the Mispaint app really isn't as noticeable in person as made out to be in online pics. I have a feeling that's the case, Jim, and I will be unboxing Flint at some point very soon, and we'll have a look at that, and I'll see for myself, honestly. But I kind of feel like maybe that is the case, and I wouldn't say it's an overreaction at all. I think it's just as everything happens on the internet, you know, tempers flare and emotions rule. I'm not going to say you're wrong for feeling peed off or disappointed. And like I said, I haven't opened mine yet. I could feel peed off and disappointed when I see it. Seeing as Flint is a very big character for me, like, you know, growing up and being one of my favorite characters in the line, you know, to not quite get him right is a killer. It's almost like in Classified, if your favorite character's Falcon, you get that Falcon figure and it's like, man. So yeah, I can see that. Anyway, there's the explosion in the background. Very, very nice. That's gonna pop down there now. I do love the packaging. The packaging's gorgeous on these. And here we have a Red Jackal. Isn't he great? I mean, it's Destro. Yeah, I get that. But I love the extra touches that have gone into this to kind of slightly differentiate him. More so, I think, than they did with the original figure in the UK. I'm just going to get the little plastic tabs off. While a bit easier than the Baroness tabs, I have to admit there. I say that and then it doesn't actually snap. Okay, why is this now adamantium plastic? Okay, I've done it, finally. We're not getting the figure out just yet, but I've done that in advance because that was going to drive me mad. Now, let's look at his things. Get your things out, Destro, even though it's Red Jackal. I'm just as bad calling him Destro, then. Let's get your things out, Red Jackal. Right, so he's got two wrist gauntlet missile launcher things. That missile's on the wonk, though, isn't it? Let's try and sort that out. Yeah, it's just the other one flexed over a bit. So you've got the missile gauntlet for one wrist, and they've given you another one for t'other wrist. So you can have two missile gauntlets, or one missile gauntlet and one grenade gauntlet. You know, it's your choice. Or you can have two grenade gauntlets. So those are your options. And of course, like, two more grenade gauntlets here. There you go. So there are all his gauntlets. He's got some hands. These are handy. Give us a hand. Yeah? Bloody hell. They do love putting these things in plastic to the point where you just can't get them out. Okay, so he's got a C grip, a right-hand C grip. He's got a... Why won't it come out? What? Has anyone else had this issue getting stuff out of this packing? Because my goodness, it is in there and will not come out. That was effectively, I feel like that was molded in there. What just happened? My goodness. Okay, another C grip, left hand this time. That was a mission, just getting that out of there. Hopefully, we won't have the same problem with the other one. No, much easier, much easier, much easier. We've got the kind of pointy C grip there, right hand. And we've got, yeah, that just popped out, smacked me in the face. Ow. We've got left hand, pointy C grip. And we've got all the other bits and pieces he comes with as well. Ow. I'm just flicking them into my face now. Same little blaster, the Sumbo blaster that the Baroness comes with. We've got a massive red pistol. That's fun. That is a fun piece. It's a massive pistol. That is huge. I could hold that as a pistol. See my eye through the trigger. There it is. Really cool. I like that a lot. That's a really fun little piece. I love like red weapons and accessories. I don't know why. And I love this one as well. Now, Mark said these are probably binoculars, and he was 100% right. I was kind of looking at them going, what is that? Is that a book? And no, it's binoculars. They're kind of cool as well. So it's, there you go. You got like kind of like visor, curved visor there to look into. And then the front there. I don't know which way it goes up. Is it that way up or is it that way? Don't know. And then you've got the little details on the side as well. And just like a little thing there. And then a little detail there. Is the detailing on, because that, I don't know. I'm just going to, whatever. It looks awesome. I do like those little binoculars. And we've got a repainted Flint backpack. Don't hate the player, Chris. Just have the tools for the job. Good point, Neil. Yeah, but trying to get something out of plastic that doesn't require a tool other than just your hands. I think I'm just the wrong tool in general. My goodness, this backpack is depthy. It's like really in there. Got it out. Yay! So you got the repainted Flint backpack, which actually is an interesting touch. I do like this backpack. But there you go. You got dynamite on it and things sticking out all over the place and grenades, and it's black, silver, and red. And you got the straps. Very nice. Nicely detailed. I do like that backpack. I love what they do with the backpacks. I must admit, that's one of my favorite things with the Ultimates is how they do those. We've got an alternate smiley face with his eyes closed. He's very happy there. Like it. And this one, this is another alternate head. This is more angry, showing the red eyes. That's kind of cool, actually. I like that one. Very nice. And then we've got the default head on the figure, which we're going to look at next. That's all of his accessories. Okay, we can burn that bit. Not really. I've got to return it back to Andrew Franks, haven't I? In some sort of semi-decent condition. Now, out of the box, he seems, again, very good. I will say, though, something that didn't happen with the Baroness, he has rather loose, like the hip joints going into the top of the legs, going into the waist. That is quite a loose kind of scenario there. Just pointing out, the knees are good and the ankles are fine, but those hips are proper loose. I can see that being an issue over time, just like Neil mentioned before. Just standing him up, seeing how he balances. and he balances really well. These are great figures for that, I've got to admit. Like, she's been standing up the whole time, like in heels on a rickety thing that's in front of this. Yeah, it's a proper guerrilla warfare setup I've put up here. Okay, let's have a look at the figure. He's got the default head with the red eyes, looks very awesome. The big white collar, which goes all the way around, as you can see there, all the way around to the back. Beautiful big white collar. He's got the Red Shadows logo on the red shirt there, and he's got the what would you call it? The medallion, but it's much like, this is not a flashy gem sort of medallion. This is something like more, I don't know, practical. As I said, like the paintwork goes over the red paint goes over the rivets on the bottom of the helmet, which is an interesting touch again to differentiate him, I think, from Destro. I don't have the Destro to compare. I don't have the Baroness to compare. I'm sorry, but yeah, I just wanted, it's really kind of getting these out. It's pretty basic for the rest of the situation. You've got like all black belt, the red straps on the thigh, but then everything else is kind of that, a mixture of gloss or matte black. Gloss for the boots, matte for the kind of like the spandex, and then with the accessories, you can like give him all the different kind of like, so you can kind of give him the missiles that go on really nicely actually, and they're solid on there, which is nice. This is such a beautiful figure, guys. I can't even. I'm going to put the grenades on that side as well, just to kind of give you the full force of him. Looks really good. That's yeah. So you got and they go on really well, and they look really good, even though they're separate. We're going to put his backpack on. See, that looks. Again, I really love the fact they do. Oops, they do the straps. I just think that's a really, like, I don't know. It makes sense in real life. So of course it makes sense like a bigger scale of action figure. Obviously the Pagan backpacks make sense at like 4 inches, and I would say like the classified figures need straps. The backpacks are that's one of the weakest elements of what is an almost perfect brand of toys, is the backpacks for me. But yeah, looks cool. Goes on him. Love it. So he's got his backpack. He's on his little mission. Let's take his hands out as well. Let's see how much of a problem that will be. Not a problem at all. Why do I keep throwing them at me? I'm gonna give him a pointy finger as well. He can have a pointy left finger. It's nice that the pointy fingers, or the pointy hands, I should say, also can hold weapons. So it doesn't kind of like minimize you to just pointing. Why do I keep knocking things off? And I'll put the other C grip on that side. There we go. And he doesn't have like a holster for his massive, what's it called? A pistol, but he does have 2 hands, so that's enough for me. Man, that pistol is so massive. It hardly it fits in his hand and then some, but that is a big old pistol. What's funny is since I put the gauntlets on, they've gone a little bit, what's the word? Loose. So they go on tight initially, but they've definitely gone a little bit looser since I put them on. And this pistol, I don't know how he holds that, because that is really small in his hand, and there's no trigger finger to hold it. So that is a weird one, because that pistol, that little laser pistol, doesn't really look how. I mean, that is like when you see in the adverts when the kids would put guns in the figure's hands and they just like fall in there and like stay there somehow. That's kind of what's happening there, but that is not. This pistol is way too small for his hands. So I would say that he's an absolute beauty of a figure, but that pistol's a bit useless. And the what else did I say? And yeah, the hips are a little bit loose. So that is a shame. The gauntlets are actually all right now. They seem to be all right. I think I found the actual position they go in. I think that's all it was. I think they weren't quite on there in the right position. but they're on there now. It would appear. That was just me being an idiot. I'm going to put the binoculars in his hand to see if he holds them well. Yeah, he does. That's cool. Kind of looked initially when I first saw that, I thought it was the book that you know, the kind of code breaking little booklet that Black Major came with back in the day. But he's gonna hold them like that for now. But there he is. So to give you a nice detailed summary of both figures, we will run through We will run through Rednok first. Now, Rednok has a great sculpt, brilliant deco, great homage to the Indian Fun School figure, and multiple head sculpts that don't seem to suffer the same issues as the same figure in the second wave with the heads. But then again, I don't have the other one to compare it to, so I'm not really sure. The only downside to the figure that I can find are the tabs. The tabs for the holster, it just doesn't really fit in there. It's a little bit too big for the small, harder hole. So you've got two tolerances where the peg is soft and the hole that it's going in is quite hard and stiff, Kitty said. So what happens is you kind of wedge it in there and then it slowly works its way out again. And then you wedge it in there a bit more and it slowly works its way out again. So that is one of those things that drives me absolutely bananas. The tabs are like one of those things that I just don't think anybody has managed to achieve a perfect tab in action figures yet. So the strap on the rifle, effectively, when you take that off the first time, it's very, I mean, it's not even that it won't go in because the tab's the wrong size or anything. It's just loose. So you put it back in and it just falls out. And so that's a bit of a shame. And the strap doesn't really work for the Baroness. It doesn't really hold the rifle in the right place. If you had it on the way it was on, which was kind of like that initially, then it pushes the weapon away from her back and it looks a bit weird. If you switch it round and you kind of tab it like that, it brings it closer to the body, but the strap is too long for her. So it goes really like low down and doesn't look right. I think that probably needed a bit more finessing, to be honest. But everything else about the figure is great. Literally just the tab. She's very secure. Oh, the only other minor detail would be the head articulation, because the head sculpt with the hair kind of prevents her from doing anything of any range of motion with the head. But other than that, great figure. So just a couple of very small items, and it's mainly tabs and it's the head articulation. That is it for the Baroness. Other than that, phenomenal. Holds the weapons really well. Lots of cool accessories, all the different alternate heads. You can create different character with it. There's so many different heads on that one, and different shaped rose tinted glasses. Phenomenal. So I'm into that totally. Then we've got Red Jackal, which is great to finally have an official homage in the Ultimates for you know, or this scale, I should say, for the original UK Palitoy Action Force. Of course, Red Jackal was a repaint of Destro, and he was reworked as a character. Anton Nobukov, as we mentioned in the on the file card, and the fact that he was in Action Force before, you know, getting in a hideous crash, and then the Red Shadows found him, turned him into a cyborg, and he became the Red Jackal. Great figure, phenomenal sculpt, awesome, you know, to see the logo and everything and all the different call outs that make him Red Jackal. Loads of cool accessories. The only downside I can see, really, the two things: the loose hips, but it's not really a problem at the moment because he's standing up very comfortably. But yeah, that is going to be a problem. I think that they were very loose out of the box. And considering, you know, like if what people have been saying is true, that they do loosen up a bit more over time, then that doesn't bode well, unfortunately, in the future. But other than that, everything is just minor. Like the fact that this pistol is too small for his hands. It's just too small for his hands. If he had a trigger finger, which he doesn't have, he has pointing fingers, that don't go into the trigger guard, and he has C grips that don't have a trigger finger separate to them, and he has fists. So there's no way of really getting the finger in there to hold the pistol in place. So that is an interesting addition. The other massive pistol he comes with is perfect. They should have just done something as big, or just left it at that. Give him the pistol and don't give him, a small blaster. The Flint backpack is an interesting addition. I like the repaint of it, and I think it looks cool on him. So I think it works really. It's just kind of out there, isn't it, as an addition? He's got lots of multiple heads, and they're all really cool. Like I said, you've got the kind of like yelling cyborg red eyes. You've got the happy kind of Prince Adam meme sort of head as well, and then you've got the kind of default neutral. Very cool. And of course the gauntlets. So I had an issue initially thinking, oh, they're going to be really loose, but no, they're fine. I just hadn't got them in the right position, and they're locked in there, nice and tight. Neil says durometer is a delicate science by millimeters often. Yes, it is. Durometer being the different what do you call it, plastic kind of like tolerances and stuff like that. But yeah, it really is an exact science, definitely. That Destro is a hard maybe for me. Yeah, again, they're really good figures, but like I said before, there are a few aspects that are kind of like, that have to be mentioned, definitely. That pack is nice. I just opened the Ultimate Flint last night. Oh, nice. I'm going to have to do mine soon, definitely. Ultimate Standard Destro is just as amazing. Neil says it's been an issue. Tolerances. It's been an issue with this line since its inception, and all the Ultimates figure lines, frankly. Yeah, I think they'll get it eventually, but it sucks because you definitely want like the things that come with it to work properly. Now, I will say that the holster on the Baroness side hasn't come off, hasn't fallen off, hasn't been pushed out completely, but it's just that thing where I like things to be flush. I like things to when they go in, they stay in, and there's a satisfying click or a final position for it, So I kind of wish almost that had just been in a fixed holster. Genuinely, like I don't necessarily need to have a holster removed. You know what I mean? What else are we saying in here? Gorgeous sculpt. That's always what you get with these. Absolutely, Neil. Looks like a vial of Baroness's blood. What does? What were you looking at? The I don't know which one what you're referring to. Oh, on the medallion. Yeah, it could be. What else we got? A couple removable straps that could pop over the shoulder and onto the backpack would probably look pretty good in classified. I think it would pass the pierogi. Or if they just rejigged the engineering of backpacks. So if the figure's got web gear, it attaches to the web gear. Do you know what I mean? Like rather than the back, it attaches to the web gear, and it attaches to the web gear so they ain't coming off. Like unless you want to take it off. That's what I think needs to happen. So they could do that with a lot of figures. Like, a lot of figures that have the web gear could definitely do with a backpack. It doesn't have to be straps. The web gear could be the straps, and that's fine. But in certain cases, it just needs that, because you put those backpacks in sometimes, look at them funny, and they fall off and end up in on the floor somewhere. Super 7 figures look awesome, but they're so expensive, says Ryan. That is the case. I mean, that's what it is, isn't it? That's the crux of the issue, I think, for a lot of people. Pastor Pierogi says, is there ever a world where you could see Super 7 given the green light to and want to do O-ring style figures? Yes. I think that's something they would want to do. I think that's something they've wanted to do in the past and obviously couldn't because Hasbro were doing it. And I think want to do, definitely. Could I see it happen? Yeah, I could actually. Although the thing is, they're so deep into reaction now that I don't know if adding another line would be a possibility, but they could replace it. I don't know. It depends really, and it all depends on what Hasbro want to do with O-ring. But that's really up to Hasbro at the end of the day. And I would say that Super7 probably want to do that. What else we got? That would definitely have helped my first wave. The peg on the backpack was too short and would never stay on, says Pastor Pierogi. I have that with so many figures. I want to say like the first Zartan backpack isn't very like solid on mine. There's a bunch. They all just don't really fit. And I wonder why they don't just make the peg a bit bigger. Do you know what I mean? Just like the new backpack's peg slightly bigger, and it might stay in a bit tighter. I don't know. It just seems like do that, make just ever so slightly. Anyway, that is it for this one, guys. We've definitely covered lots of ground, and I've been going on for ages, but we do have a weekly to do in a little while as well, so I've got to make sure I get ready for that too. I will be back. I'll be back in a few minutes, like I said. But then also we've got a monthly coming this weekend, hopefully, if I can edit it in good time. And I've just been in contact with Brian, so hopefully we'll be setting up an interview at the end of next week. And we've got, like I said, mentioned before, Corey Cantalupe is going to be doing an interview with us, but that's going to be in a few weeks' time because he's actually away doing PowerCon and some other things in that time. So when he gets back, we'll get him on the show and have a nice chinwag about everything that he's involved in at the moment, everything he's done in the past, all that good stuff. And we've got loads coming up. There's loads coming up. So I'm going to be a busy person, and I will see you guys on the next one. Sorry, just making sure there's getting everyone's comments in here. Okay, cool. That'll do. I'll see you on the weekly, guys, in what would be 47 minutes time or whatever it is. Yeah, have a great one. Stay fresh, cheese bags. Say bye, guys. Rednok and Red Jackal. They're not saying it. They're not playing along. After 3, you know what to do. 1, 2, 3. Blood for the full force. See you later, guys.
That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, Full Force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.